with an example of political projection, projecting labels onto others, that which you are guilty of. Here's former President Barack Obama accusing the Republican Party of elitism. Roll tape.
But what you don't see is the Republican Party embracing. They still have very much an elitist economic agenda.
Yeah, they've got their old economic agenda, but
with a cultural overlay.
Well, nevertheless, a recent Wall Street Journal study showing that the number of House Republicans receiving 40% or more of their campaign contributions from those big corporate PACs was actually down to 19% in the 2022 midterm election cycle. In other words, the Democrats are doing a lot of elitist money raising on their own. Joining me now to tackle all this, Americans for Tax Reform President Grover Norquist and Forbes Media Chairman Steve Forbes. Gentlemen, great to see you. Thank you for being here. I want to zero in. I'm going to get personal, Steve Forbes, personal with regard to the President of the United States. He and his wife have done a little bit of maneuvering, shall we say, in terms of the way that they arrange their taxes. Some people would call them tax dodges. In fact, the Wall Street Journal did. They avoided paying $500,000 worth of taxes on income using this tax dodge that President Obama actually wanted to get rid of at one point. But here's the current president of the United States, taking advantage of this. What do you think of all that?
Well, it just goes to show laws for some, laws for others. And it's amazing, these tribunes of the people, so-called, live very, very well. And they used, Biden's used this S-Corp dodge, where I think they finally removed that loophole, where you didn't have to pay the Medicare tax. On Medicare, you pay taxes on all your income, not just the Social Security portion of it, which is about $150,000 a year. So, yes, and former Senator Edwards, who was vice presidential candidate for the Democrats in 2004 with John Kerry, used the same kind of dodge.
And you know, Grover, they have spent years creating, President Biden has, during his career, spent years creating all of these tax dodges that he takes advantage of and other millionaires take advantage of, and also these regulatory dodges that various well-placed corporations are able to take advantage of that small business people can't. That may be one of the reasons why Democrats are now getting more corporate help with the PACs than Republicans are.
Well, elitism is not simply being able to cheat on the rules and make a little extra money. The real fun part of being elitist is telling everybody else what to do. And the modern Democratic Party wants to tell parents what school their kids will go to, what their kids will learn. The parents aren't allowed to look at the books that the kids see, but they will tell them. They want to tell you what kind of shower heads you can have, how you cook your food at home. They're going to micromanage what kind of stove you had. We just had to vote, and all the Republicans voted to say no to the Biden administration telling you what kind of stove you can have for the rest of your life moving forward. They want to tell you how much energy you can use, whether you can fly planes. The list of things that the elites want to tell everybody to do that Biden and Obama want to mandate on everybody else is endless, and it's a joke for them to turn around and blame people who simply want to be independent contractors and work. They want to tell them you can't. You have to have a boss.
Yeah. Steve, getting back to the tax issue, and again, specifically with regard to the Bidens, not only did they take advantage of these tax dodges, but they also made $610,000 in the 2021. That's how much they paid in federal that's how much they made. They paid in federal taxes on $610,000, 24.6%. That's Joe Biden's fair share. He thinks it's a fair share, 24.6%, but the top rate is much higher than that. I paid into the 30s in terms of my federal taxes. Why not use his fair share for the country's fair share, 24.6%? That should be the top rate.
Well, because he's working for us. So therefore, he needs extra compensation. No, it's just preposterous, pure hypocrisy. And the thing is, this all gets to why I hope some Republican candidate advocates the flat tax. Just clean out the code.
Absolutely.
If you make it, you pay it. And that way, all this stuff goes away. And imagine, using your time and all your energy for something productive. You know, the last 20 years, we've spent over 100 billion hours filling out tax forms. We've spent over $1 trillion complying with this corrupt tax code. Imagine if all those resources had gone for new products, new services, new medical devices, new cures for diseases, how much better off we'd be instead of coping with this monstrosity.
And Grover, it sort of goes back to what you were saying, but it reminds me of what happened in California and other elite blue states where the folks who were making all these rules during the pandemic, they violated those rules that they had for everybody else. Joe Biden thinks that, you know, 34% is not enough to pay in taxes. You got to pay 39%, but he's paying 24.6% in federal taxes.
Yeah, if you want to be elite, you get to make rules for other people, impose them on other people. To the question of the flat tax that was just raised, there are 19 states that have a single rate tax. So we know it works. And more states are moving towards a single rate tax. There are probably another 10 states in the next 10 years that will add to that. So most states will have a single rate tax for their income tax. Why not at the federal level?
Now, Steve, Trump did level tax. He didn't go for the full flat tax, which was a mistake, I think, to a simplified flat tax. Everybody pays whatever it is, 19%. You deduct the first 20,000 or 30,000 that you make so that lower paid people don't.
Everyone gets a tax cut, so you don't get in this thing of who's helped, who's hurt.
Everybody gets a tax cut. However, what we did see as when Trump flattened taxes, lowered the top tax rates, is that the people who benefited the most were the blue-collar workers because they were paying less as well. And all of a lot of the people at the top rates actually ended up paying more because they got out of their tax dodges and realized they could make some real money with the money that they invested.
Well, going back to Ronald Reagan, facts show that when you lower tax rates, guess who ends up paying more? Not just in terms of dollars, but proportionately. When he came in, the top 1% were paying about 18% of federal income taxes. Today, it's about 35, 38%, with rates much lower.
Right.
So you cut more, you want to collect from the rich, have a more prosperous economy, they end up paying more.
And of course, Grover, the president says no taxes for those making over $400,000, but we know that the inflation tax killed people's wages, and the people who really suffered most from that were the middle class, and they are still underwater, even though inflation has come down.
And all the energy taxes that they put on hit everybody. This will only tax the rich people is the lie that Clinton told, that Biden told, that Obama told, and every one of them went after energy prices as soon as they got in, on everybody.
Yeah. So very quickly, gentlemen, from both of you, first to you, Steve, who's more elitist in this equation? The Democrats who are calling out elitists to the Republicans, or the Republicans?
Well, as you said at the beginning, it's projection. They're the elites, and they want to make everyone else poorer, more dependent on them, because they know better than we do.
Grover, will the American voters see through their cries of elitism?
I think they see it, and that's exactly why Obama came out and lied, to try and start the conversation the other direction. It's nonsense. Obama and his party are the elites in this country, and that's what's making people angry.
All right, Steve, Grover, great to see you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for being here.